Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Refuse to acknowledge. Give little or no attention to. Bar from attention or consideration. Fail to notice. Be ignorant of or in the dark about. The omission that is made when an editorial change shortens a written passage. Weed out unwanted or unnecessary things. We had to lose weight, so we cut the sugar from our diet. Cut down on. Make a reduction in. The employer wants to cut back health benefits. The act of penetrating or opening open with a sharp edge. His cut in the lining revealed the hidden jewels. Made neat and tidy by trimming. In baseball, a batter's attempt to hit a pitched ball. He took a vicious cut at the ball. Used of rates or prices, reduced usually sharply. Lessen the strength or flavor of a solution or mixture. Cut bourbon. Cut and assemble the components of. Cut recording tape. Used of grass or vegetation, cut down with a hand implement or machine. Reduce in scope while retaining essential elements. The act of cutting something into parts. His cuts were skillful. Refuse to acknowledge. She cut him dead at the meeting. Turn sharply. Change direction abruptly. The car cut to the left at the intersection. Be able to manage or manage successfully. She could not cut the long days in the office. Mixed with water. Sold cut whiskey. A refusal to recognize someone you know. The act of shortening something by chopping off the ends. The barber gave him a good cut. Sports. A stroke that puts reverse spin on the ball. Cuts do not bother a good tennis player. Style and tailor in a certain fashion. Cut a dress. With parts removed. The drastically cut film. A wound made by cutting. He put a bandage over the cut. Create by duplicating data. Cut a disk. Cease, stop. Cut the noise. Cut off the testicles of male animals such as horses. A piece of meat that has been cut from an animal carcass. Make out an issue. Cut a ticket. A trench resembling a furrow that was made by erosion or excavation. A remark capable of wounding mentally. The unkindest cut of all. Intentionally fail to attend. Cut class. A distinct selection of music from a recording or a compact disc. He played the first cut on the CD. The division of a deck of cards before dealing. He insisted that we give him the last cut before every deal. Of a male animal, having the testicles removed. A cut horse. Cuz to stop operating by disengaging a switch. Cut the engine. A canal made by erosion or excavation. Allow incision or separation. This bread cuts easily. An unexcused absence from class. He was punished for taking too many cuts in his math class. A share of the profits. Everyone got a cut of the earnings. A step on some scale. He is a cut above the rest. Discharge from a group. The coach cut 2 players from the team. Dissolve by breaking down the fat of. Soap cuts grease. Divide a deck of cards at random into 2 parts to make selection difficult. Wayne cut. Fashioned or shaped by cutting. A well-cut suit. Fell by sawing. Hew. The Vietnamese cut a lot of timber while they occupied Cambodia. Film. An immediate transition from one shot to the next. The cut from the accident scene to the hospital seemed too abrupt. Form by probing, penetrating, or digging. Cut a hole. Form or shape by cutting or incising. Cut paper dolls. Function as a cutting instrument. This knife cuts well. Give the appearance or impression of. Cut a nice figure. Grow through the gums. The new tooth is cutting. Have a reducing effect. This cuts into my earnings. Have grow through the gums. The baby cut a tooth. Hit a ball with a spin so that it turns in the opposite direction. Cut a ping pong ball. Make an abrupt change of image or sound. Cut from one scene to another. Make an incision or separation. Cut along the dotted line. Make a recording of. Cut the songs. Move one's fist. His opponent cut upward toward his chin. Pass directly and often in haste. We cut through the neighbor's yard to get home sooner. Pass through or across. The boat cut the water. Penetrate injuriously. The glass from the shattered windshield cut into her forehead. Perform or carry out. Cut a caper. Reap or harvest. Cut grain. Record a performance on a medium. Cut a record. Separated into parts or laid open or penetrated with a sharp edge or instrument. The cut surface was modeled. Separate with or as if with an instrument. Shorten as if by severing the edges or ends of. Cut my hair. Stop filming. Cut a movie scene. The act of reducing the amount or number. The mayor proposed extensive cuts in the city budget. The style in which a garment is cut. A dress of traditional cut. Of pages of a book, having the folds of the leaves trimmed or slit. The cut pages of the book. Refuse to acknowledge. Give little or no attention to. Bar from attention or consideration. Willful lack of care and attention. Lack of attention and due care. An instance of driving away or warding off. Refuse to acknowledge. Reject outright and bluntly. She snubbed his proposal. A refusal to recognize someone you know. The snub was clearly intentional. Unusually short. A snub nose. failure to act with the prudence that a reasonable person would exercise under the same circumstances. Fail to do something. Leave something undone. Give little or no attention to. The trait of neglecting responsibilities and lacking concern. The state of something that has been unused and neglected. The house was in a terrible state of neglect. Willful lack of care and attention. Leave undone or leave out. Lack of attention and due care. Fail to attend to. He neglects his children. Bar from attention or consideration. Bar from attention or consideration. An amount or percentage deducted. Interest on an annual basis deducted in advance on a loan. A refund of some fraction of the amount paid. Bar from attention or consideration. The act of reducing the selling price of merchandise. Give a reduction in price on. I never discount these books, they sell like hotcakes. Cease to consider. Put out of judicial consideration. This case is dismissed. Stop associating with. Bar from attention or consideration. She dismissed his advances. Terminate the employment of. Discharge from an office or position. End one's encounter with somebody by causing or permitting the person to leave. I was dismissed after I gave my report. Declare void. Push out of the way. Bar from attention or consideration. Touch, lift, or hold with the hands. Don't handle the merchandise. Handle effectively. The appendage to an object that is designed to be held in order to use or move it. He grabbed the hammer by the handle. Interact in a certain way. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. Be in charge of, act on, or dispose of. This blender can't handle nuts. Show and train. The prize-winning poodle was handled by Mrs. Priscilla Prescott. Interact in a certain way. Provide with choice or abundant food or drink. Don't worry about the expensive wine, I'm treating. Provide treatment for. The doctor treated my broken leg. Something considered choice to eat. Interact in a certain way. Act on verbally or in some form of artistic expression. The new book treats the history of China. Subject to a process or treatment, with the aim of readying for some purpose, improving, or remedying a condition. Treat the water so it can be drunk. An occurrence that causes special pleasure or delight. Engage in negotiations in order to reach an agreement. They had to treat with the king. Provide with a gift or entertainment. Grandmother always treated us to the circus. Regard or consider in a specific way. I treated his advances as a joke. Refuse entrance or membership. Black people were often rejected by country clubs. Deem wrong or inappropriate. Resist immunologically the introduction of some foreign tissue or organ. His body rejected the liver of the donor. Refuse to accept. The person or thing that is rejected or set aside as inferior in quality. Reject with contempt. Dismiss from consideration or a contest. Refuse to accept or acknowledge. I reject the idea of starting a war. Leave undone or leave out. Disregard intentionally or let pass. Reject as false. Refuse to accept. The state of being held in low esteem. Your actions will bring discredit to your name. Damage the reputation of. This newspaper story discredits the politicians. Cause to be distrusted or disbelieved. The paper discredited the politician with its nasty commentary. To cause inconvenience or discomfort to. Ignore someone's wishes. Treat with contemptuous disregard. Flout the rules. Laugh at with contempt and derision. Refuse to acknowledge. Expel, gases or odors. Come to pass. Disappear gradually. Be accepted as something or somebody in a false character or identity. Cause to be circulated and accepted in a false character or identity. Disregard. Treat with contemptuous disregard. Laugh at with contempt and derision. Showing your contempt by derision. Minimize the importance of, brush aside. Lacking substance or significance. Slight evidence. A deliberate discourteous act, usually as an expression of anger or disapproval. Being of delicate or slender build. Watched her slight figure cross the street. Pay no attention to, disrespect. Quantifier used with mass nouns, small in quantity or degree, not much or almost none or, with, a. At least some. There's slight chance that it will work. Pay no attention to, disrespect. She cold-shouldered her ex-fiancé. Deal with a problem by laughing or pretending to be amused by it. Deal with a problem by laughing or pretending to be amused by it. Refuse to accept. Fail to acknowledge.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.